Going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Lights, camera, action figures. Billy here. Thunder Punch He-Man on Instagram. Um, we are back here today with a little video. And for those of you who don't know, my channel is going to be based on, on you and what you want to hear. So our first suggested video comes from Playtime Returns, and I'll put a description to his Instagram below. And he also has a YouTube channel. You guys can check that out and subscribe to. But he does reviews of action figures, and he had a really good question on the Thundercats Ultimates figures. He received Wave 8. He has them in hand. Did a nice review on those. By the way, you can, like I said, I'll put a description or a link in the description below. But he wanted to know what my thoughts were if they're cutting back on the scaling or the size of the figures due to inflation, or any particular reason at all. So it, when you look at the video and you see Wave 8 figures, which is Aloro, Hachiman, that's Captain Shiner, and uh, Wily Kit. So when you see these, when you have them in hand by themselves and you start comparing them and you start bringing in other figures, they do look smaller. I'm going to go ahead and pull some photos now and show you. So at your first glance, you'll be like, yeah, the Super 7's cut back. But, I want to just caution people on jumping to conclusions because I'm going to show you the sculpts that they showed off, and we can go from there. So let's go ahead and pull that up here. This is the renderings that they showed off first, and we'll get that pulled up. And as you can see here, they look really good, in my opinion. I love Thundercats, for the record. So Aloro in the background here, this figure here, if you notice, he's kind of in a squat pose. His knees are slightly bent. Now, this is a rendering, so take that how you will. But he's much taller than the rest of them. They all look great, though, right? I mean, I think they do. I think we can all agree on this particular image here. But we head over here to Toy Arc, and I'll put a description or link down in the description below, so you can go check the photos out from them. They have some really high quality photos showing off some of the prototypes here or the sculpts, and you can tell here that they're pretty much spot on with how they looked in the rendering. Loro's taller, Hachiman comes in right behind him, then Shiner, and of course, one of the twins here is much smaller. But now, it's hard to, I say, well, before I shoot there, Hachiman looks much taller here. When I say much, he looks, what, half an inch taller. So for scale, to me, a half inch is a big difference. About a half inch, maybe, if that. But let's go back here. He looks shorter here. So, and this is what I was getting at about as far as cautioning people just who feel like maybe, the scales aren't correct, because again, this is a rendering and Aloro is squatted. Whereas in this photo here, he's straight up and down. And he looks to be about the same as he is in the rendering as far as height, but his legs aren't bent. So, and remember, these go at a slight angle as well. But now, Playtime Returns actually did a review, so we can pull this up. And I mean, I think they look fine. Do I think that maybe Super 7's cutting back due to inflation? Sure. I mean, they announced the slip covers and some of the cardboard boxes. So yeah, I think they are cutting back. Are they cutting back on the sculpt sizes? I would say no, based on, because it's going to catch up with them eventually, right? If you have a collection of these and you start laying them side by side. Now, I would say if we get Wave 9, and Wave 9 is also scaled differently than the first 4 or 5 waves, then there's a possibility that you could answer that. But without talking to Brian Flynn directly, or getting his input, I would say we really can't tell at this point. Um, I do remember Captain Shiner being larger. I mean, the vintage figure is larger. Um, I would say he's bigger than Panthro, but you know, I mean, the vintage Panthro figure is much smaller than the rest of them. So and he's supposed to be big beefy guy. And I guess you got to kind of take it how you want. Are they cutting back? I would say no, but again, everybody has their own opinion. Uh, Playtime Returns seems to think there may be some scaling issues, and I can see where the argument you could be valid when you're looking at all these figures here. But my point of view, I would say no. 'Cause some of the scales on all the figures are not perfect. So we could start there. That's a whole nother thing to get into. I don't think that has anything to do with inflation. So, take that how you want, but that's my 2 cents. He, he wanted me to, speak on that and just see what my thoughts were. Now here, he does mention he thought Hachiman was gonna be larger because in the cartoon, he's a heftier guy. In the vintage figure as well, he's got, a little more of a stomach on him, but here from the Toy Art photos, he looks like he's pretty much spot on from how he was, um, with the sculpts here. So, I would say they look good. That's my 2 cents, and, you can comment, let me know what you think, but I appreciate you, sending me a question there and asking me to touch on that. Right now, until we get the next wave, I think it's too hard to really say for sure they're cutting back because this round of figures they're in the cartoon, they're just all different sizes. So until we get something a little more across the board, we can compare it to the older figures, then we'll know for sure. So, comment below, let me know what you think. And I will put Playtime Returns information below. Make sure you check him out. And anything you guys want to talk about toy related, let me know. Like I said, even if it's just a short video, just to come on, I give my 2 cents, talk about it. You can let me know if you agree or you disagree, and we'll go from there. So again, just go down below. The links are there how to reach me. You can hit me on Instagram right here and below the video or on email. And you can let me know what you want to talk about and I'll touch on the topic. So reach out and let me know. And Playtime Returns, I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good one. Later.